One thing I do really appreciate about you is how you think so much broader than what like YouTube and the tech stuff directly. Like you're into all of these other things, and it's really refreshing to see that, and it's something that I definitely respect about what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's almost like you got to do it to keep it interesting, because I don't know about you, and I've been doing it for a shorter amount of time, but do you ever get bored? How do you keep it fresh?
I think that's why I'm so into like the tech world, is because like it's something, by extension it's something that I should be into, but like obviously my focus is sneakers. And so when if I'm creating a video or if I'm creating some sort of content that doesn't necessarily excite me, I have sort of like this tech spin to it where I kind of feel like, oh yeah, but I'm shooting with this cool camera and I'm trying out these cool profiles, or I'm going to try this lighting technique, or I'm going to try this interview setup. So all of those things I think are what keep it exciting for me and continually push me to keep me growing. Or, oh, I'm going to try and tell a story this way. I'm going to try and tell a story that way. So all of those things I think are what make it all and keep it interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. And you have to find things that are, whether it's, a genre, or because tech is always evolving. There's always new toys to play with. So whether it's your genre or, the different styles of videos you're creating, that's what I found too is, any way that I can keep things fresh helps, because sometimes when you're on your like fourth laptop review and you're just kind of doing the same thing, there's a moment where you're like, what am I doing? I need a little bit more excitement.
What is this? Yes. Yeah. And you guys, and see from the outside looking in, I'm like, oh man, these guys get all of the coolest things that I would love to play with. And it's so cool that they get to do all of this sort of stuff. But I get it, because kids think the same thing about me with all the sneakers and stuff. And I'm just like, well, now I have a storage unit that I have to pay for. So like, no, it's not as cool. It's not as cool as you think. I have too many. It's too many.
Yeah. Well, what is that like?
I definitely realize I'm in a beautiful space. What do you mean?
Yeah. With, cause tech, it's always a mixture of companies sending it to you, but then you also buying things. Is it a similar flow with sneakers, or do you have reps at each company and they know like you're on the list and they just send it through? Cause I'm sure that's more of a crazy space, in that sometimes if you have a certain shoe, oh my gosh, you're like one of only 20 people and people are selling it aftermarket for thousands of dollars. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy over there in sneaker land.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty similar to tech in certain ways. Like I think like, you get stuff early. Same thing, I get stuff early to do a review on, and so like I'll have it a couple of weeks before. I follow embargoes just like like the tech world follows embargoes. All of that stuff is pretty similar. I would say the biggest difference is that sneakers are more limited than tech is.
Right.
Like the goal of tech is we want everybody in America to have one of these, or everybody around the world to have one of these.
Yeah. Link
Whereas
in bio.
with sneakers, there are some sneakers like that, but for the most part, the stuff that people get excited about is super limited, and only a certain amount of people will get them, whether that's they make 1,000 pairs or 10,000 pairs or 100,000 pairs. Like it's limited. So like hype and the thought of something selling out is now a part of like the marketing plans of sneaker companies. So selling out is used as a marketing tactic, basically. Unlike tech, where like Apple wants everybody to have an iPhone, and we're gonna keep making them until they say they don't want them no more. Whereas with sneakers, they'll make a Jordan 1, they'll make 100,000 Jordan 1s, and they won't make them again for 10 years.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting to see when we were planning this podcast, I was like, what are you stoked about? And you mentioned that you're getting more into finance and stocks, and it's been so interesting to see sneakers as their own asset class themselves. And it's fascinating to see what
Right.
will double, triple, quadruple in price. Oh my gosh. And you look up maybe 10 years later and you got an old box of Jordans in your closet, and then you look on StockX or one of these websites and be like, oh, Well, this is kind of crazy. How is that?
Yeah.
Maybe this is the wrong question, because I'm like, how is this sustainable? Because as a business, you want to make money. And then the people who are making money are the ones who are selling it on StockX, not the company. But then I guess, you have to play into that, because that's what people want. They want the hype. It just seems confusing in my brain from a business standpoint.
So the brands, they're making their money when they sell to the reseller, quote unquote. So like they've already made their money. And with sneakers are typically priced like anything else, like double whatever, like the manufacturing cost. So that's generally like, so brands are making their money already. And the resale market is just kind of the resale market. They can't really determine. You don't know what's going to sell or what's going to resell unless there's some sort of hype behind it. And that's when things have some sort of resale value. And so like brands, I don't think brands are going to get in on the resale market, just because I think it presents some like logistics legally wise that they can't really get into. And, you know, consumers being like, oh yeah, of course these sold out, so you could resell them. So of course you're going to sell them out fast. So like I think there's that whole angle that they have to navigate if they're going to get into that space. But then there's also the fact that like brands make the majority of the money that sneaker brands make isn't from these hyped shoes. Like the hyped shoes are just like the marketing aspect of things. That's like 10, maybe
high
20%
level brand,
of the bottom line.
brand awareness. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, brand awareness, that kind of stuff. The other 80% is the stuff that you buy at warehouse shoe sale, or you buy at JCPenney, or you buy at Costco, or wherever it is. Like these general release sneakers is where these brands are making all of their money. The hype is just what's keeping their name in the headlines. So I don't think they're looking at the resale market as a revenue stream. I think they're just more looking at it as kind of a part of doing business. And for them, what they do is they just raise prices on the hyped product to go closer towards that resale demand. So for instance, Jordan 1s used to be like $160 for like the last 5 or whatever years. Now they're $170. So brands are just slowly pricing up. Jordans used to be $160 or $170. Now they're $190 to $225, depending on who's making the shoe, if it's a collab or the materials and all that stuff. So brands they're dipping into the resale market, but they're doing it through their retail presence.